Uh, Good evening, everybody. Today is a very pleasant moment for us that Chaivasa Engineering College going to organize another workshop on pitching event for ideas scouted and linkage with innovation ambassadors for mentorship support. And under this Institute Innovation Council, we are going to organize this workshop uh, by Professor Tanmay Das sir. Now, I want to give you the brief introduction about Professor Das. Professor Das is an assistant professor in Department of Electrical Engineering, Chaivasa Engineering College. He had completed his BTech in Electrical Engineering in 2012 and completed his MTech in Power System in 2015. Now he is pursuing PhD under Department of Power Engineering, Jadavpur University, and he has delivered so many speeches in various conferences, national and international levels, and also published various journal paper and various domain in reputed journals. And I like to request Professor Tanmay Das sir to take this workshop.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Johan sir, for the introduction.
Thank
Okay, so good evening to all. Good evening, students present over here. So, Johan sir, can I share my screen?
Sir, may I make you host?
No, I'm already the co-host. So,
Yes,
if you unshare your screen so that I can share.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, you may share your screen, sir.
Okay. Okay, so is my screen visible, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, this would be an interactive session. Okay. So I would request all of you to can interact with me. Okay, in between. Okay. So now let us start with this particular workshop. So this workshop is related to the how you can how you can basically if you have any innovative idea. Okay, so students, you requested to mute yourself. If you have any question, then you can ask. Okay, so thank you. So basically the workshop is related to any innovative idea which a particular person poses. Okay, one second, please hold on a minute. Okay, so am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, so one second. Okay, so basically this webinar or it was this workshop is related to suppose any idea, any particular student, okay, has any idea, please mute yourself. So any student who has an idea must, will able to capitalize that, okay, in such a way that your idea should be one innovative one, okay, so that you can make some progress, okay, with the help of the mentor, Okay, any mentor. Okay, so I will be discussing everything in details one by one. So it should be capitalized and it should be implemented with the help of some mentor. Okay, the mentor should be some innovative or innovation ambassador. That means he should be an entrepreneur, so that you can scout your ideas, okay, and become an entrepreneur by yourself. So what are the things you need to know that we will be discussing for today's workshop? Okay. One second. Okay. So first of all, related to innovation and startup. So are you able to see the slide of innovation and startup? Please confirm me for the last time. Innovation startup, are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So innovation and startup. First of all, tell me what is innovation and what is startup? Any idea? Anyone? Yes. Mohsin has raised his hand. I think he
Sir,
wants to say something. Yes.
यस सर स्टार्टअप सर वो कंपनी जो अभी जो ज्वाइन कर रहा है, मतलब उसको कोई आइडिया आया और उस पे वो काम किया, तो वो जो है अपना जो है कंपनी को पूरा ऑल ओवर इंडिया में, जैसे इंडिया में कोई कंपनी जैसे कि स्विगी, जोमेटो, ये सब स्टार्टअप कंपनी, ओयो, तो ये लोग जो है मतलब अभी स्टैंडिंग की है, मतलब एक एमएनसी में बन गए जैसे गूगल और अमेजोन है, तो वो जो है मतलब अभी सीख रहे हैं और समझ रहे हैं, उसी को स्टार्टअप कहते हैं।
Yes, exactly. Good. So basically, startup means whenever any person who has an idea, okay, an innovative idea, that means the idea should be innovative one, okay, and is able to use that to build his own company, okay. So that building up of a new company is called the startup. Now that leads to the forming of an entrepreneur. So entrepreneur is a successful person who has a successful startup. Now you can see in this particular slide, there are many things associated with the startup. Okay. That means a startup is not only related to innovation, but there are multiple things which are associated with the innovation. That means you need innovations, teamwork, finance, money, research. Now research comes first. That means you have to first do the research. Okay. So we will discuss that later. First of all, one thing will come in your mind, that why we are talking about so much entrepreneurship, isn't it? ये तो सवाल आ रहा है सबके मन में कि entrepreneurship को इतना क्यों emphasis दिया जा रहा है, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you must be thinking that why so much workshop and webinars on entrepreneurship. So first of all, tell me, after you graduate, what are your desires? So how many of you are interested in doing work, and how many of you are interested in doing higher studies? I think most of you are interested in doing jobs, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So as it is not your fault, because it is how the society works in our country, that since a lot of money has been invested by your parents for your graduation, and it is obvious expected that yes, you have to work and you have to take care of a family, and you have to you have to also cherish your dreams, okay, fulfill your dreams. You have to be established in your life. That is good. But the thing is, are there sufficient jobs in our country at present? That is debatable. Okay, so we know that yeah, job crisis is always there. One more thing is that, have you heard the word brain drain? Brain drain का नाम सुने हो? What का कभी नाम सुने हो? Brain drain.
No, sir. No, sir.
Not heard. Anyone? Not a single person. Brain drain.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I'm writing once again. If you're able to see over here, I mean brain drain. Yes. So who has heard? Please explain what do you mean by brain drain?
Sir, it means when our best educated people go in outside our India.
No, not going outside India is not the problem. You can go outside, no problem. But working there, settling them there, okay, doing business or
Working with other companies.
yes,
who
working for
are-
other companies. That means if you are basically Indian by birth, okay, not by you can say not you can say I'm not counting those Indians who are inheritedly Indians. That is why that means who are born in US or born in abroad. That is not my concern. My concern is the people who were born in India, did their studies in India, and went to abroad for studying and then settled there and doing job. So the major examples or the big examples are, we all know that the Sundar Pichai, Mr. Sundar Pichai, then Satya Nadella, okay, Microsoft CEO, then Google CEO. You can see there are many companies, even the Adobe CEO is currently, and Twitter CEO is also an Indian. Means Indian born and Indian in India, they have studied in IITs. Okay. The thing is, if you are completing your education in India and going and doing your further education in abroad, that is not a problem. But the problem for a country, the crisis arises when that person settles in that country abroad and do not come back and leave the Indian citizenship. Let me give you one example, statistics, that in US, okay, it is being surveyed in 2020 and 2021 that most of the students who are immigrants, okay, in the US come from India and China. But after they complete their studies, 80% of the students of China return to their country. They come back to their country and build a startup. Now, suppose all of you have heard the company called Tencent, isn't it? In PUBG also, Tencent was the distributor. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Tencent is a company which is Chinese, but the people of China who has built up this Tencent company, they have studied, they completed their education in abroad, and they have returned to their country. There are many companies, such as you can say the Alibaba is you can say the Amazon of China. These are the companies. Okay, huge companies are there.
Yes, sir. Jack Ma.
Yes. Then we have the WeChat. So these are the companies. So you must be familiar that WhatsApp is not popular in China. They use WeChat.
Yes,
Amazon
sir.
is not popular in China. They use Alibaba. Okay. So that means they give more emphasis to their own product, and they return to their motherland and do startup over here, successful startup. That is very much lacking in our. Yes, India is having a huge growth now. That statistics also I will be sharing with you, but still we are very much behind these countries, because most of the Indians, okay, who study abroad, complete their education abroad, okay, don't return to their country, okay. And it is been observed that the students who are going to abroad, okay, for studying, they get a H-1B visa, okay, and in that visa 7 to 8% students don't return and take the US citizenship. That is very, but in China that is very low, almost 2 to 3%. So why I'm discussing all these things, because it is not their fault. These people also don't have a fault, because if there are less job opportunities in our country, then as well as there are less opportunities for startup building also. Okay, there is not a good environment or ecosystem for startup building also. That is also a big crisis. I think you need to mute yourself, I think. Okay. So the thing is, that is why we are more interested in this workshop for startups and entrepreneurship, because we need the young generation to think of more startups. Because as an engineer, you focus obviously that if you are doing an engineering degree, you must work, but also it is not important that it is obviously important for doing work, but it is more need of the country that you become job creators rather than job seekers. Because if you build a startup, okay, more people can work under you, so the vacancies will increase, okay, so that more people will get employment, okay, so that people don't think of going abroad, okay. Now it is also not possible because there are many constraints to that. We all know there are many conditions. It is not always possible to have a successful startup, okay, that we will come later, but still we are progressing. So I will give you one statistics. Okay, so you can see it is a global innovation index, okay, worldwide. The India ranks 48 among the 131 economies. That means global innovation index. That means it is being ranked upon based on this number of startups, innovative startups, successful innovative startups in a country. So India is ranking at 48 currently. So it is still far behind. So we have to push it and bring it within 10. If that is possible, then our country will very much close to becoming a developed country. So the thing is, if we concentrate on more exports than imports, then only that will give a growth in the economy, because you have to build, because there is a you can say scheme also, make in India. That means you have to build in our country, and not only build the foreign companies. Like suppose, yes, we are also thinking that why Apple is assembling in China, Apple should be assembled in India also. Okay, that is good, but we should also think of a parallel company that can compete with Apple. Why we are more interested in Redmi's, MIs? Why? Because they are able to give the customer support. Okay, obviously, but we should also think in such a way. Okay, and we should also become that innovative so that we can also catch the market. Because Micromax tried, but still it is struggling too much. So we need more companies like that so that we don't have to depend on foreign, you can say, companies. We can build our own company so that not only the service will be much more cheaper, but also that will help in the economic growth of the country a lot. Okay. So India's innovation ecosystem. So first of all, before going to that, I will just discuss that short about ecosystem. So ecosystem I will be discussing in details later. So ecosystem is nothing but, as the term explains, that India's innovation ecosystem is an ecosystem which supports these startup companies. That means for a startup, you need some idea first of all. Okay, so if you have an idea, but idea is not enough for building a startup. You need much more things. What are those? You need capital, that means money. You need investors. You need means laborers. Okay, then you need a marketing idea. Okay, so all these things are required. So if you don't have the ecosystem, then you won't be able to build a successful startup. So this ecosystem is very important. Okay, so now currently, since the government of India and the government of the different states have taken many measures so that they can boost this ecosystem, so that they can facilitate those startup companies, okay, or the entrepreneurs, okay, so that they can be motivated. So they must be motivated. Okay, so they are coming up with many schemes so that the financial support can be given to them. So in that case, in that particular scenario, India is currently the second largest startup ecosystem in the world currently. Okay, and it is having, and it is observed that a year-of-year growth of 10 to 12% is observed. That every year it is having a huge growth. Okay, that means huge growth in the innovation ecosystem. If innovation ecosystem is there, then only a startup company can be successful. Okay, now to 20,000 startups in India, around, currently we have more than 20,000 startups, and around 4,750 of these are technology-led startups. That means these are based on technologies. That means most of them are not even technology based. Different startups, okay, different business which are not related to technologies. Okay, those startups are also there. That means as an entrepreneur, if you're graduating as an engineer, it is not important that, yes, obviously it will be credited and it will be much more help to the society if you implement the technology based startups. But if you have any startup idea or innovative idea which is not related to any technology, that can also help you. Okay, that can also be that will also there is a scope. Okay, so you can also implement or invest on those areas also. Okay, but the ecosystem should be favorable enough. Okay, you see 1,400 new startups were born in 2016 alone. Okay, implying there are 3 to 4 startup born every day. So every day there are startups going and building up, but all are not successful. But slowly you have to struggle, okay, and you have to have the basic idea of the ecosystem, and as well as the mentorship. That is also I will come later, so that you can get a, you can say, better opportunity as a startup. So that is also important. Okay. So now India is progressing hugely. In the recent years, India has progressed hugely. Now the India's ranking is 48, as I've told you, innovation index, but previously it was far behind. Okay, but it has progressed hugely, and if this pace keeps on, then we can easily come within the 30s and 20s ranking, because in our country, okay, overall we can say, as of November there are more than 900 unicorns around the world. Okay, around the world it is 900 unicorns, but in our country we are also having almost 60 or over 60 unicorns. Now, what is a unicorn? Unicorn means a company which has a net worth of more than $1 billion. Okay, that is called a unicorn. And there is a decacorn also and hectacorn also. Decacorn means a company which is worth more than $10 billion, and hectacorn is a company which has worth of more than $100 billion US dollars. So India has over 60 unicorns as of the statistics of this 7th October 2021. Okay. Now here are a list of few unicorns which are leading the chart, top 10. Okay. So in top 10 you can see the one which is, this is the Indian ranking, and this is the global ranking. That means this company Byju's, which is currently the #1 company in the country, okay, as per its valuation, it is more than 21 billion US dollars. Okay, and this is the sector in which it is being it is running. But okay, it comes under the edtech sector, education technology, online education, we all know. And these are the cities where it is being situated, where the headquarters are situated. Okay, and this is a global ranking. You can see Byju's is now currently the 15th in the world and first in India. Okay, and then you can see there are so many companies. Okay, there are much more companies. You can see there are 60 unicorns, but it's the top 10 currently. Okay, so from here you can see many companies are not even technical companies. Okay, suppose let me tell you that it is not always, as a student, as a graduate engineer, it is not always I'm telling you that you have to build up some innovative you can say a particular design or a model that you have to sell. Okay, to become an entrepreneur, for a startup you have to build a factory. Not always important. Suppose let me tell you the company of Ola. All of you know it is a company which is running what? Running cabs, but Ola doesn't have his own cab. Okay, do you means, are you aware of this, that if you see an Ola cab, doesn't mean that the company, that cab or the taxi is owned by the company Ola? No, any person who has a taxi can register himself, okay, in that particular Ola. And Ola, what it does, it uses its own server. It uses its own server in such a way that it helps the driver to get the customers. Once it gets the customers, it gets some commission. You can understand, using this simple technique, they have become a unicorn. They don't have to, you can say, it is not necessary that they have to buy a car. Okay, means the car is the taxi belongs to the driver, okay, or the owner. The Ola app is only giving access so that it is using the Google map also. If you open a Ola app, you will see the map which is showing it is being brought by Google. Google will be embedded. Have you seen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that means it is purchasing the map from Google. That means it doesn't have a own satellite also. So it is giving some money to the Google, and it is keeping the rest of the money and commission with itself. So this is a startup. This is also one kind of a startup. Okay. So now most importantly, as a since you are just graduates, okay, and you don't have experience currently, so how to build a startup, that is very important, much more important. So for that you need to have the proper mentoring. Okay, so mentoring, since in education also you need mentoring for every part, so for startup also obviously you need mentoring, because mentoring is required, otherwise you won't be able to, because there should be someone who can guide you. Okay, so what company should you open, or how will you marketize it? Okay, and how can you increase the customer demand? Okay, and if a situation comes that the customer demand is not sufficient, then how can you means you can uh, you know develop that? Okay, so all these things comes under the incubation center. Incubation center means, or incubation scheme means, whenever an entrepreneur has a startup, so it has to first build its own company in such a way that first step should be that the person has to gather information. Okay, then the person has to have the proper scheme, so how to enter the market. Okay, and how to approach the consumers. So that means, just like an incubation means, you have heard about the incubation of an egg. Okay, when a chicken lays an egg, it first has to be incubated. When it is incubating, then the egg is processed and then it is hatched. So this incubation is important. Before coming into the market, you have to incubate your company. Okay. So possible roles of a startup mentor. So obviously you need a startup mentor. So what are the possible roles? So basically, a process leader, a leader should be in such a way that that person should be able to guide you. Okay, guide you and give you the key processes and tools. That means developing business model, canvas, business plan. Okay, that means idea is yours. The innovative idea won't be provided by anyone else, because if a person is giving innovative idea, that person will build up his own company. Why will he give you that idea? The idea has to be yours. Okay, the idea has to be yours, but the person can guide you how to implement those ideas in the market. Okay, so the first focus, that means it should be in the early stage. That particular mentor will work as a leader or guide you as a leader. Then the person will guide you as a pool of wisdom. Okay, so I will not read everything. Okay, so I will just share this with you for later purpose. Okay, but I will just give you a basic idea that a particular mentor can be a business partner also. Okay, at later stage he can be a business partner also, but not only business partner will not help you, because that business partner, you should keep a business partner who is experienced. Okay, so that he can be a mentor, because idea is yours. He will just be a business partner because he has to also keep some incentive. Otherwise, why he or she is investing his or her time and money and everything? Okay, so that person can be an investor or a business partner. Okay, but that person has to be an experienced one, so that he or she can guide you in that particular entrepreneurship. So this is a key role of a particular mentor, startup mentor. So if you're thinking of a startup, so always remember that if you have an idea, you must approach a person who is well, you can say, experienced in the startup world. Okay, who has a similar kind of a business idea which you are having. Then you have to approach that person to get an idea that how can you establish your, or how can you approach with your startup. Okay. So this is the how the mentor role may evolve as the startup grows. Okay, first of all, the mentor can be a process leader. Then mentor, slowly as a company progresses, you need a wisdom. Okay, so you need a pool of wisdom also. So the mentor will act as a pool of wisdom. Then a trusted advisor. Then as a business partner. So these are the slow stages or roles of a startup mentor. So now coming to functions of entrepreneurship. So basically the function of an entrepreneur. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to follow these key roles. Okay. That means innovation, number one. That means you have to have some innovation. Then managerial skills. So innovation is not sufficient enough. You have to have some managerial skills also. Decision making, risk taking. Risk taking means, because if you are thinking of a startup, you're actually becoming eyeing to become a businessman. You have to take some risk. Okay. Then dynamic function. Dynamic function means as per the requirement of the market, because market is not stable. Okay. And in nowadays, market is very much, you can say, not at all constant. It is too much flexible. Okay. So you have to be flexible also. Gap filling. Gap filling means you have to know that what is the current requirement of the market. If there is a gap in some area, okay. Well, suppose gap means currently the pandemic situation is going away. Okay. So we can think positively. Now the situation comes that now the people are coming out fresh with fresh ideas. Okay. They are going to work. Schools and colleges are reopening. Okay. So now the people are once again trying to lead their lives which they used to lead life before the pandemic. So now you have to think in that way, that what are the we can say requirements of a man now after post pandemic. Okay, what are the things they want to purchase? Because startup means you want to sell something, the people should buy something, and people will only buy something which they need. Okay, because it is not the want now, it is the need. So you have to focus on those things which the people need nowadays. Okay, so now you can see the Swiggies and Zomatos, they have also started. Previously they used to sell or deliver food. Okay, that means the food from the different restaurants. Now also they are supplying Pepsi in 5 minutes, chips in 10 minutes. So they have come up with this idea. So following this, the other companies are also doing the same thing. So this is a thing which the companies have now thought, that people are not coming out of their houses. So these basic things also they are not willing to come out. So we can invest in such a way that they can, their demand can be fulfilled. Okay, so this was a gap. This was a huge gap. Okay, this is an example I'm showing. I'm just telling you that if you're purchasing something, food from a restaurant, you can get. But if you think, okay, I'm purchasing pizza, so what if I have to go to the market again to buy a Pepsi? But Swiggy is telling you, no, you can tell me, I will deliver the Pepsi within 5 minutes from the nearest store. So Swiggy is not having a Pepsi with himself. What he is doing? He's booking the Pepsi from the nearest store and he's delivering it. So the storekeeper is having some extra sale. So that commission is giving to Swiggy. So this is a business idea. Okay, innovative one. Then comes the creative function, organizing, economic function, purposeful activity, coping with failure. That means you cannot give up if you are failing with your idea, because 90% of the startups fail in our country. Okay, every year. So you cannot fail. If you cannot give up. If you fail, no problem. You have to work on the failure. You have to find out where you're lacking. Okay. Then there are so many other things an entrepreneur should or an entrepreneur should keep in mind. Okay. Now, research and innovation. Now, first of all, for becoming an entrepreneur, you have to have some innovative ideas. So otherwise, you will not be able to become an entrepreneur. Because if you're copying someone else's ideas, okay, you can be a competitor, but you have to have some innovative ideas also. Otherwise, you cannot compete in the market, because there are many companies who are monopolies. Okay, so you cannot last in the market. You cannot survive in the market. You have to come up with innovative ideas. Okay. So if you want to beat a unicorn company, so if you are following that company, people will say, no, why I will purchase from you? That this company is ABC company is much more trusted. It has been running his business for last 5 years. I will buy the product from him. But if you are following the same technique, but if you bring some changes, innovative changes in the product or in the service, and the customer service, then you will see that the consumers will rethink that yes, this new company is giving these facilities which the other previous well-established companies are not giving till now. So that innovative idea is very important. So a research is required. Why research is required? Research is not only technical research, but market research and everything. The research is required. But this business which you're thinking of developing, you have to have the research in that particular area. Once you do the research, you will gain knowledge. And once you gain the knowledge, then only you can build some innovative ideas. And when you build the innovative ideas, you can encash it. If you give proper customer support, then you can become successful. So research is very important for innovation, because if you don't do proper research, if you don't have proper knowledge in your area, so you will not be able to have some innovative ideas, and you cannot be an entrepreneur. You cannot make a successful startup. Now the thing is, okay, before going to this, I'm telling from since a lot of time, for a long time, so I want you to also participate. Now tell me, why I've told you that 90% of the companies fail. Why? Because what is the main challenge of becoming an entrepreneur? Can anyone tell? If you want to be an entrepreneur, so what are the main challenges you face so that your startup, you're in confusion that your startup may fail?
Market capturing, sir.
Okay, what else?
Market capturing means what I made the product, I sell the product.
Means marketing
Trust.
skills.
Trust.
Okay, that means customer satisfaction. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Again, what else?
Sir, innovative ideas that previously not opted by any other person.
No, innovative idea you must be having. Suppose you have an idea, you have started a company, you're running good, but after 1 year, your company's sale has decreased and decreasing, and slowly you have to close your business. So this thing happens. So why does this happen?
Research and development.
Research?
Sir, competition.
Competition is there. Yes, obviously.
So
We
in this
should
case,
be
we have to
make
upgrade ourselves time to time.
Yes,
But
competition is
customer
there.
service, sir.
Customer service there. That is why competition, they see competition will always be there. You have to beat their competition. You have to survive in the competition. For that, you have to have these, you can say, the challenges are there. So let me show you these reasons. There are seven most important.
Is not coming with new ideas according to customers or suppliers.
Exactly. That means you can say customer satisfaction. This is also you can say this point is there. Yes. So there is the customer satisfaction. So that means these are the 7 reasons why a startup fails. So see, competition will always be there, but always competition. You are studying in a college, there is competition. Okay. In a jobs, there is competition. There is opening of 100 people. 10,000 people are applying for a job. So there is competition. So, but how can you crack that? You can crack only if you can cope up with these 7 reasons or 7 challenges. Number 1 is lack of consumer demand. That means one point I've shown you before, this point, if you can see, gap filling. That means you have to search for those gaps. Which gap is there currently that people are not having? Suppose you think in such a way that you are a normal common person, Aam Aadmi, and you are sitting in your home, you're relaxing. Okay, you're going to office, you're coming back. Okay, earning money. But what are the things you think that a person should have? A service can be provided which he or she is not having currently, because now you see the world has become so much easy for you. Because if you want to buy something, there is grocery app. Okay, if you want to go somewhere, there is a taxi app. Okay, or cab is available. Even tickets are also booked online. Okay, medicines are also available online. Okay, so in this way, what can be served online or anything else which person is not having currently? Okay, so in that you have to think. So that means lack of consumer demand means the consumer should be having some demand. Okay, if you are providing something, the consumer is feeling that why I should go for this. Now new technologies have come. So that company which is selling the old technology, that company has to redevelop it. Okay, redevelop it. Because if you can, if you see the motorbikes, okay, different companies are coming out up. So previously, the Royal Enfield motorbike was a few years ago was not successful because their model was very obsolete and the customer satisfaction was very you can say disapproving or not at all satisfied. Then the innovators have started thinking that why does a customer doesn't like our motorcycle? Then they used to ride their own motorcycles and then they have pointed out, yes, these are the problems, these are the comparison, that our motorbikes are lacking these things, other motorbikes are having these things. So now you can see, if you research on the latest models, you will see there are less vibrations in the Royal Enfield bike, isn't it? Am I correct or not?
Yes, sir.
Less vibrations. So that means less vibrations means the people are more satisfied. So you can see so many new models are coming up in this company, Royal Enfield. So that's an example I'm giving you. That means the consumer demand should be there. So you should sell something that consumer requires. If you're selling something consumer no longer requires, then the demand will be dropped. So lack of consumer demand is one reason. So you have to sell those products which consumer needs. Then insufficient money. Insufficient money is always there. It is 37%. Then poor management of the business. Pricing model. That means you are selling something which too much price. Other companies are selling with less price. Okay. Why they are able to sell it less price? Because they have different schemes, different management schemes, marketing schemes. So if you want to reduce the price, you will see that I cannot reduce the price because otherwise I will run in loss. That means your management and your marketing is not that much particular or not that much updated compared to the other companies. That is why your pricing is so much high. Then comes the poor marketing, customer satisfaction, and legal issues. So you can see finance or the insufficient money is the most 37%, but it is not above 50. It is still less than 50 because there are other problems also other than monetary problems. Okay, the money problem can be there, but other problems also you need to tackle. Okay, this is also important. Now this is a startup ecosystem. Now see, to cope up with this, our government, okay, has been bringing up many schemes because these are the problems which the common people, common entrepreneurs face. So how to solve these issues? So the solution is to have a better startup ecosystem. Startup ecosystem means whenever you are having a innovative idea, you need to encourage them. Okay, for that you need experienced mentors. Okay, then the mentor can guide you, because if you are having some legal issues because you want to sell something and if you don't know that, yes, if you want to sell something you need to pay this duty or you need to have this license. So this regulatory environment is there, it should be there to help the, you can say, startup companies to survive. Okay, then there should be entrepreneur culture, technical skills, because you don't have proper labor, you don't have proper managers, your company won't last. Okay, so technical skills should be there. Availability of capital, you need money, you have to have some capital. Risk tolerance, that means the capital which you're taking from the loan as loan, it shouldn't be such that if you fail once then everything property is gone. No, there should be some provision so that the company can think of taking risk. If it fails, then also the company should be allowed, okay, you can have a second chance. That is a risk tolerance. Then visible success, collaborative culture. The ecosystem is very important. Okay, that means if you want to prepare something, you need all these things along with you. If you're not having all these things with you, you won't be able to build a startup. So that means this building up startup, you need to have a proper ecosystem. So this ecosystem building is being going on since a few years, so that this ecosystem encourages a particular entrepreneur for building a startup. Okay, so how the startup ecosystem can help India becoming powerhouse of the global global economy? By targeting development of solutions that allow business in key sectors to meet goals of national importance, moving India's economic and social challenges as opportunities for growth. That means this ecosystem will help us to build a startup or develop a startup, okay, as per the consumer demand. Okay, so that the goals can be achieved. Okay, and the economy will only be uplifted if this is done. So that is why more emphasis is going on towards these startup companies. Okay, so government is also bringing up many schemes and investing so that the people get encouraged, because our country is the one of the youngest population in the world, because 54% of the population is under the age of 25. So that means this is the young generation or young populated country. Okay, so 54% of the population is less than 25 years old, which means that there is a lot of skills. Now, no person in the world has born without a skill. Everyone has some skill, but you have to capitalize. You have to bring up what skills you're having. Okay, you have to work on that. So that in that way, the different companies can help you, or different mentors can help you. Okay, different schemes are coming up in such a way that you will have the proper guidance for building a startup. Now there is a startup. 1 second. So there is a startup scheme which is called the Samrid. Okay, it's a startup skill which is being brought by the Ministry of Electronics and IT Startup Hub. Okay, so this Ministry of Electronics and IT, okay, which under the government of India, has brought up a scheme of the name by the name Samrid. So these schemes, what it does, it gives assistance to the startup companies, not only financially but in other aspects also. Okay, so so they're actually building this ecosystem. Okay, so there are many startup companies, the entrepreneurs which are there, they can have a proper guidance so that they can work out, and they can, you can say, if they have an innovative idea, they can present it, and the scheme will guide that particular people. Okay, the students that, or the who are the innovators, that is, you have this innovative idea, you can implement your idea in this particular field, and if you do this, you will get this support. You will also get financial support, you will also get mentors, you will also get the business partners, you will also get the marketing support, so that that particular innovator get encouraged to encash that idea, so that he or she can become a successful entrepreneur with this startup. So this is very important. If we don't encourage the ideas, then no startup can be brought. So this encouragement is done by different schemes. One of the schemes is Samrid. Okay. So basically, the main objective of this Samrid scheme is to provide funding support to the startup so that they can become successful. Though this scheme not only funding support, but also skill sets will be provided to the entrepreneurs. So skill sets will also be provided. That means if you are having an idea, so what are the improvements you need to have? What are the market current, you can say, demand, so that you can think in that area. Okay, so what are the changes you need to make? So these things, everything, guidance, this mentorship will be done by this particular Samrid scheme. So acceleration will be provided to startups by providing customer connect, investor connects, and international connect services. So this will help close to 300 startups in the early stage of their journey. So what they have done, they have helped 300 startups. So there are 300 startups that are being quite successful under this Samrid. So they are not unicorns, but this Samrid will at least they're helping these companies or building these companies. Small ideas, if you're having, you can, that should be quite competent enough. That means any idea will not be entertained. It should be very much innovative. Otherwise, you will not get the funding. Okay, so almost about 40 lakh funding is given per idea. Okay, this is done by this particular scheme of Samrid. The program aims to further the Indian startup growth, which is now the third largest unicorn hub. So currently India is having the third largest unicorn hub. That means number of $1 billion dollar companies, which we have seen, we have many, 60 unicorns, more than 60 unicorns. So those 60 unicorns worth of $168 billion, and that is the third in the world. So it is not lacking behind. India is much more progressing. Okay, But overall growth is not yet. It is still the 68th rank. Hello. Hello. Anyone? If you have any question, you can ask. Okay. So going to the next discussion. Okay. So as I was discussing that 300 startups have been brought by this particular scheme. Okay. So it is having a worth of, it will be funded by the company, scheme by the government of India. And you can get a funding of almost more than 40, at least 40 lakhs. Okay. Maximum 40 lakhs. Okay. So now there are many more government initiatives. Okay. There are many more government initiatives along with this Samrit, which we have. Suppose the Startup India initiative. This is also an initiative which launched in 2016. Okay. So what it does, it gave compliance and legal support, funding and tax grants, incubation and industry partnerships. That means funding will be given, but also the tax grants will be given, legal support will be given, incubation and industry partnership will also be given. That means incubation, because if you have an idea, you don't know how to marketize it. So it will support you in marketizing it. Okay. And also it will support you by finding the industry partnership also, because you don't single-handed, you don't have the enough finance. Okay. So what it does, it finances by itself, or it can collaborate with some other industry partnerships so that you can get funding from them. Okay. So that your product can come in the market, then you can develop your own startup from there. Okay. Then we have the Atal Innovation Mission, which is called the AIM, which was also launched in 2016. So to create a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in the country. The scheme involves schools, research centers, NGOs, MSMEs at district and state levels. MSME means micro, small, and medium enterprises. Okay, so that means this scheme, Atal Innovation Mission, this scheme helps. Also, this involves the school, because if a school project has some innovative idea, then they can fund them, so that these students can develop. Because what they have to do, they have to just present an idea model. Okay, basically idea, not model. They don't have to create. Suppose they don't have the enough finance to create a model, what they can do. So if their idea is very much attractive, then the government will fund them to create the model. And if the model is successful, then they will be getting more fund to develop their own factory, so that they can become an entrepreneur. Okay, so in this way, these companies or the government is trying to encourage these small innovative ideas, so that the startup ecosystem can be improved. Then there is another scheme, which is the SIPEIT, okay, which is the support for international patent protection in electronics and information technology. This is one more scheme. Okay, so what it does, it offers financial assistance to tech-based startups as well as MSMEs for international patent filing. Now, what is patent? Anyone has an idea about patent? Yes.
Sir, earlier over anything. It's
What? Repeat.
sir, thin layer over any other thing.
No. Patent. What is patent?
The patent is copyright of something,
Means some creation. Yes.
Yes.
Because suppose you are creating something, okay, then there has to be some patent. Suppose, for example, suppose the mouse, the person who has first designed this mouse, okay, there is a patent by his name. There's a patent of mobile phone. There's a patent of laptop. There's a patent of everything. Okay, that means the person who has created that particular item first, that he has to register his name, that yes, I have created it. If someone is copying it, then I should get the royalty. So that is called patent filing. So patent filing also needs money. Okay. So that means if you are designing something and you want to patent it, then you have to go to the patent office, because filing a patent means it is one of the properties. What property? Intellectual property. So there is a section in the government that is the IPR section. IPR means intellectual property rights. Because if you having an idea, innovative idea, that is your own property, no one can steal it. So that you have to go to the IPR, the intellectual property rights, and you have to register that yes, this is my property and this is my right. Okay, so I have created it and this will be my patent. If someone is using it without your permission, then that person will give you royalties. So to filing that patent, you need finance. So this financial assistance is provided by this particular scheme. Okay. Then there is another scheme which is called the PRISM, which is the promoting innovations in individuals, startups, and MSMEs. So it is also gives the financial support. Okay. And it also gives the support in mentorship also. Then we have the Aspire, a scheme for promotion of innovation, rural industries, and entrepreneurship. So this gives a startup support in the agro industries, in the agriculture, in the rural industries. Okay. So if you want to design or develop a particular mechanism so that the farming becomes easier, if you have an idea, okay, you go to the these particular schemes. If you're able to present yourself, there is, I have this idea, by using this, the farmers' work will be very much, you can say, their work will be very much efficient. Okay, and the time will be solved, and their effort will be reduced. Time will be reduced, effort will be reduced. But most importantly, they will ask you that what is the cost of this idea, or if you design this, what will be the cost, because this has to be economical, otherwise a farmer cannot purchase or afford. And if it is economical, then you have to go to the IPR and file a patent, and then they will give you the with proper you can say monetary support. Okay, finance. Then you can design your own equipment. Okay, and then you can sell in the market. In this way, the whole thing works. Okay, so that's all. So from today's workshop, I only wanted to communicate to you that startup using the innovative ideas is the need of the time. Because the example which I've given you, the brain drain, okay, that means a particular person who has the knowledge, but the lack of infrastructure in the country. Okay, so that will not encourage that particular student, okay, or person to, you can say, so you will not encourage to you can sustain, because he or she cannot sustain in the market. That encouragement is important, because everyone wants to have a startup, because obviously if you're working somewhere, rather than if you have your own business, you will obviously earn more. This is practical scenario I'm talking about. But you should have the proper guidance, proper infrastructure in the country, proper ecosystem, proper support. Otherwise you won't be, you can say, motivated, or you won't be able to survive in the market. Okay, that is why these different schemes are there, the mentoring schemes are there. So mentoring schemes come from this particular scenario, this ecosystem. So mentorship is under the ecosystem. This ecosystem will help you to will help you not only to find a mentor, but also this how to build a company, how to approach the market, what is the current scenario, then the financial support. Okay, so this encouragement is very important. Okay, so this is what this whole discussion is about. So entrepreneurship, all of you already know that yes, I want an entrepreneur. So what can you do if you have an idea? There is no sufficient enough. You need to know all different things. You need to have a proper ecosystem. You need to approach the proper person. You need to know which person can assist you, who can be a mentor, not only financial, but also technical. Okay, who can guide you in the market, because someone gives you say 50 lakhs. If you start a business, after 5 years you are not able to survive, run the business. So that is not what we want. We want that if you are running a business, you should be successful. For that, you need to have the proper ecosystem. You have to be in the proper ecosystem. Okay, so in our country, the top ecosystem of business are: number one, Mumbai, then we have the Bangalore, then Hyderabad, okay, then Delhi. Okay, so Bangalore and Mumbai are the top two in our country. Okay, we have which have the proper ecosystem. If you are thinking of building startup over there, the most you can say successful startups are in those areas. Why? Because they have a proper ecosystem. That doesn't mean that you will not have a proper ecosystem in your part of the country. No, you can have a proper ecosystem. For that, you have to make the change. If you make a change, if you make a startup of your own, if you become successful, then you can guide others. In this way, the economy can grow, and this will lead us to a better country to live in. So that's all from my lecture for today. So if you have any questions, students, you can ask me. If you have any question or doubt from your side, or if you want to, because see, these things you have to research of your own. I've just given you a basic idea. Now, slowly, progressively, many new schemes are coming, so that you have to, that you have to investigate or cultivate of your own. Okay, obviously, you will get the assistance from us, but you have to think maturely from now on. That yes, if I want to be successful, it is not that I want to be successful and I'm telling to myself that's not sufficient. You have to know what is the method, what are the, you can say, what is the right approach. For that you need mentorship. Okay, yeah, someone has pleased yes, you have told that describe briefly about the topic which are in Telegram. Actually, I cannot follow it. How to execute the primary setup in startup. See, that's for startup, what you have to first you need is an idea, innovative idea. Okay, so you have to have some innovative idea. That can be anything. That can be anything. That can be technical, non-technical, anything. Okay, any business, okay, related to any particular area. Okay, fine, whatever topic, whatever area, you have to have some proper innovative idea. Then you have to approach those schemes. Okay, those particular government agencies. Okay, there are many. Suppose if you can remember, there was a Chhatra Vishwakarma Award. Okay, why that was organized? So that they wanted to know that what are the new ideas our students are having. So this encouraged everyone. Okay, so new projects were submitted, and they will obviously, if the top 5 or top 10 are selected all over the country, they will obviously, or they must have obviously given finance to them. So this is the way of encouragement. Okay, so you have to approach in that way. So first of all, you have to have an idea, then you have to reach your nearest, you can have to search that who is the successful one nearby in your locality or in your city, who is doing the similar thing. Suppose you are developing one sensor, okay, new sensor, new GPS model. So you have to go to the different labs, universities, and test it. And if they approve, yes, this is good, you can approach to the different schemes. Then you can go there and present yourself, present your model. And if they approve it, yes, it is quite a good model, then you might get a finance. So in this way, you have to progress. Okay. So any further questions from your side?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you for your wonderful presentation. It was very informative, and thank you, students, for listening this webinar. This is such a good webinar, and hope you will be benefited. Start thinking
Sir,
about this. Yes, yes.
सर
If you
जो
have a
आइडिया
yes, yes, you have a question, please.
सर जो आइडिया थॉन का कंपटीशन है सर, जिसमें आप टॉपिक दिए हैं, तो उसमें सबमिट कैसे करना है सर? उसको प्रेजेंट कैसे करके सबमिट करना है? हेलो
Hello. Actually,
so,
okay, sir. Okay, sir. Tanmay.
Ideathon. Okay, so Ideathon, actually this particular it was circulated. Okay, so Choyan sir, if you have the information, you can
Okay, guys, we will discuss later, because this webinar topic is different, and so you will get the notification, how to submit, how to perform. And if you have any question regarding this webinar or workshop, please ask me. Ask
Okay, sir.
me. Okay. So I think students got their answers. And sir, with your permission, may I close this meeting?
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank
Okay,
you,
sir.
students.
Thank you to all of you.
Okay, so if you have any you need any information, you can approach. Okay, you can approach me. Okay, and regarding the other discussions, so this is a long discussion. Okay, because there are much more things you need to know, informative things you need to know. So we will also try to arrange another session. Okay, and in the feedback form, you can see there is a suggestion box also. If you think that you want a webinar on a particular topic, okay, so you can mention that in the suggestion. Okay, so that we can arrange for you. Okay, so that's it from me, my side. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Have a nice day to all of you. And we are very much thankful to our HOD sir, to IIC Council, and overall our principal sir for allow us to present this type of work webinar. And thank you. Have a nice day.